From the darkest corners of Tumblr comes a podcast where we take two of your favorite fictional characters, get them together, and ask, do we ship it? Hey guys, welcome back to Ships in the Night. I'm Zach Wilson.
And I'm Greg Goodness, and it's the dog days of summer, the dog days of summer. It's hot out, yeah, it's hot out, yeah.
I'm just going to turn that down.
You can mute it. We'll cut this later.
Yes, it is still summer. The heat in this Burbank apartment very much making us aware of that fact.
Like being on the sun, Smash Mouth, walking on it, you know it.
But we have a great show for you anyway, and I'm excited to dive into it, and I'm excited to welcome our wonderful guest to the podcast tonight, our friend, a great writer, it's Stephanie Yaden.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I got that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I said it, I was like, oh no.
Totally right.
We have got some great couples to dive into today, some that are very topical and some that are very not. A lot of kids stuff today. That's what people have been sending us lately.
It's those cute little summer romances,
Yeah.
you know?
So I say we dive into our first couple that was sent to us via our email. We've got from the Lion King, Simba, and from the Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion. Two kings of the jungle, debatably on one half of that equation. Two lions. What do you guys think? First impressions.
I like this. I think adult Simba, and let's be clear here, this is fully formed 18 for the purposes of the podcast Simba.
Well, at least like 18 in lion years, whatever that adds up to. Yeah, Simba after the Hakuna Matata montage.
Yes.
This is a gentleman who has sort of gone through a bravery growth of his own, now coming into contact with the Cowardly Lion, who maybe hasn't had quite the breakthrough psychologically that Simba has.
So, yeah, I mean, Steph, what do you think about these two? Do they fit together in your mind?
Not really. But I'm open to swaying, absolutely. But Simba is like kind of like a baller, right? Like he
is kind of cowardly at one point. He's faced with a lot of things, and especially like while he's with Timon and Pumbaa, he's literally running away from his problems.
But he's like a child in that point, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, he's at the same. By the end of it, he's at that same age. It's not until Nala shows up. Okay. Well, I guess here's what we got to figure out. We got to figure out their meet cute to see how these two get together. If we're going to come up with this fan fiction story, we got to figure out how they get together. At what point in Simba's story does this happen? Is this while he's off with Timon and Pumbaa? So like
that would be before Nala.
It's before his like big arc.
Yeah.
In the Lion King. So that makes sense to me. If it's like the Cowardly Lion is off, they're in this other jungle that's in like a different country when he meets Timon and Pumbaa.
Switched jungles.
So like Oz could be on the other side of that jungle. We don't know.
What's that shadowy place over there, Dad? That is the land of Oz. You must never go there. There are flying monkeys. They're fine. It's just kind of annoying. You wouldn't like it.
Do not follow the yellow brick road, Simba. Do not ever go on the yellow brick road.
Well, now he's not listening to his dad because he's going to follow that yellow brick road with his warthog and meerkat buddies.
Yes.
And I think that's where he would meet the Cowardly Lion, right?
Oh, yeah, like he's stumbling through the forest then, and he just comes across lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And then Timon is just like, lions, where are they? Oh, God. And he's just jaunting on down the trail.
There's already too many lions in this pack.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, they literally crash into each other, I think. They do one of those weird, like, mirror things where it's like, wait, who's running around each other? That's a very good meet cute.
Is Tin Man and Dorothy and everyone's there? It's like a full-on...
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so Dorothy is like, and who are you?
Yeah, I feel like the Cowardly Lion needs a wing woman during this whole thing, because he would never.
Oh yeah.
So and I think Dorothy would be good at that.
And you got two little squads like forming like a
Yeah.
big like group. This is like when you have two friend groups who go out to the bar at the same time, and it's just like, but they're off in their own little circles.
Oh yeah, that's so good. Okay, so they run into each other and they're like, oh, well, if we go to Oz, then we can get anything we wish for. And Timon and Pumbaa are like, more bugs! That's all that they care about.
You know that Simba is going to meet the Wizard of Oz so that he could maybe bring his dad back.
Oh, that's
absolutely.
the saddest thing ever. Yeah, so they join up with the entire Wizard of Oz crew. And I think the Cowardly Lion is a little bit miffed to begin with, because like, who are these Simone and Timba guys? Taken away from my comedic relief role they are.
Yeah, he's like trying to be funny, and then Pumbaa just farts, and everyone's
Dorothy is fucking dying. And the Cowardly Lion is like, that's all that it took, God.
I could have done that. I've been holding those in all day.
All right, so they're going off like, so Simba and the Cowardly Lion obviously are going to start talking as they're going. Two lions, they're going to have a lot to relate to. Do these two hit it off at first, or does it take some time?
I think it probably takes a little bit of time on Simba's end. I think the Cowardly Lion is there for it from the get-go.
All about Simba right away.
And I love that fucking wing woman idea. That's so good. It's like, Cowardly Lion, you need to go get that dick. Go! Quickly, hurry! Even Toto can see that you want that plump ass. Go for it. Like, she is pushing it so hard. He's like, I don't know. What if he doesn't like me?
That's exactly how that character
It's
was.
exactly how it would go down. But I think that as the Cowardly Lion is like opening up and like, I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, and I think Simba is gonna start to see like not only the worst parts of himself. It's like, God, I've been running just like the Cowardly Lion has. But I would argue Simba would come to respect the Cowardly Lion, because it's like, gosh, this is someone who's like actively working to change themselves for the better. This is a man with ambition. He's going to the Wizard of Oz to get it figured out, right? But I gotta wonder, like, what's their sort of in together, right? Like, what are they talking about?
I mean, is it just like the fact that they're both lions that don't hunt?
Oh, that's true.
Like,
we're vegetarians.
Like, that's how well, not really a vegetarian. They're eating bugs constantly.
Fair enough.
Bugs are living things, Greg.
Well, maybe the Cowardly Lion launches into a 3-hour spiel about why veganism is the only way to go.
And that's what does it for Simba.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, gosh, I really feel more connected to the earth this way now that I'm eating this tofu pate. It's good, right? You mix it in with a little bit of brown sugar.
They bond just like over cooking lessons.
Yes.
That's sweet. Yeah, so they find something to do together.
They go off to cooking class together, and Timon is not having this.
No.
This is going to be the big roadblock for them, because Timon is it's going to be exactly what happens in The Lion King. I can see what's happening. But now there's even more friends. So Dorothy is pushing them together. Mm-hmm. Is Dorothy trying to, like, we'll go on a double date. That way you won't have to feel intimidated. Dorothy tries to go on the date with Timon.
I was going to say Pumbaa.
Oh, yeah.
I can see Pumbaa going after
Pumbaa
Dorothy.
and Dorothy?
Yeah.
All right. We can do a side ship, Pumbaa and Dorothy.
Really being about it, yeah.
I mean, he did make her laugh with the fart.
Yes.
And Timon is horrifically jealous about all of this.
He just has his Can You Feel the Love Tonight? It becomes a solo about all.
Maybe Timon and Toto can
go
go off
away.
and have fun.
Yeah. That totally works. All right, so I think that they're going along their merrily way. But eventually, these guys got to meet the wizard, right? So they finally make it to the land of Oz. And I would posit this. I think that the wizard turns out to be that crafty ass monkey Rafiki.
Yes.
Like they pull back the curtain, he's like, "Ha ha! You see, your courage was in you all along." I don't know why he turned Italian there towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what the wizard does for everybody.
Right.
And Rafiki does, there's a connection there, absolutely. So Rafiki paints some like smudges on everybody's head and sends them off into the world. Simba now, I think, knows that he has to go back to Pride Rock at this point. For better or worse towards his relationship, he has to he has to confront his problems. Does the Cowardly Lion go with him?
Oh, for fucking sure. He's all, let me at him. I'll take down this scar fella. Yeah, Rafiki morphs a giant cloud of Simba's dad, Mufasa, into a tornado, which sweeps up all the other characters.
So they're all going.
Mm-hmm. But, like, I think he leaves the Cowardly Lion. Yeah, actually, no. Fuck it. Yeah, they all go together. It's like, listen, before I go to Kansas, this Scar fella sounds like a real asshole. Like,
I'm going to.
You guys want to overthrow a government before we go back to Kansas? I'll lead a revolution. I'm down to fucking rip off some heads. Let's do this.
So they head off towards Pride Rock. It's a totally different musical track for one moment in this whole story. But they get up there. I imagine they can take down Scar and the hyenas even faster,
with
right?
all these people,
with a Tin Man to throw at Scar.
Tin Man just transforms into a fucking mech suit and just destroys all of them. Sorry, that's my anime coming through.
Oh man, no, but I could totally see Timon like climbing inside the Tin Man.
Controlling.
Yeah. It totally works.
Ultimate Tin Man configuration. Timon and Pumbaa, go!
There's just like 10 seconds of video where the Tin Man is just like on a moving background with nothing in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Whoopi Goldberg hyena gets kicked in the face.
Yeah, for sure. Scarecrow is just like shooting out straws of
I was going to say, what is Scarecrow doing this whole time?
I think Scarecrow doesn't make it out of this battle. There's a lot of fire in that.
Someone has to die for sure,
That's
Scarecrow.
true.
Yeah.
He just got a brain.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, the brain didn't take.
yeah, and he's like, maybe I shouldn't be around all this fire.
Oh,
no! If he only had flame retardant clothes.
Yeah. God, he would go up so quickly, yeah.
But so once Simba's now a king again, what does that do to his relationship with the Cowardly Lion?
You know what? I think that everyone wants him to go into that role, right? It's like, okay, you've overthrown Scar and resumed your rightful place. Like, clearly you're supposed to get with Nala and crank out some kids. And the Cowardly Lion is just like, well, I guess I'll be going back to Oz then.
No, but he stops him. No, in lion packs, the male lion fucks all the other lions, which is the part they leave out of those stories, but is scientifically accurate.
They didn't mention this in the original Lion King, but
yeah,
actually...
they don't go into the fact that Nala is 100% his sister.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oof.
That's how lion prides work, guys.
So maybe the Cowardly Lion's a safer bet because he's from a whole nother jungle.
Well, I think they just get to stay together,
Yeah.
and like Simba can continue like impregnating all the other female lions that are there, including like his aunts and sisters and cousins.
Please don't get into this. Ugh.
That's how it works, Craig. But his queen is the Cowardly Lion.
Okay.
He's like, listen, I've learned a lot about bravery, and I need to be brave enough to be who I am. And that's a lion that's in love with this Cowardly Lion. Gosh, you mean it?
Just call me the courageous lion now.
Yeah.
How about you courageously take this?
Oh, yeah. They're up on Pride Rock, and everyone is just like, Oh, God.
You're making the Cowardly Lion the top in this relationship? I would say Simba.
Oh, I thought it was Simba saying
Simba
that.
saying that's the Cowardly Lion,
Simba's
for
using
sure.
wordplay.
Okay. Yes, for sure.
Simba, is looming over Pride Rock, the Cowardly Lion beneath him. Just, oh, God.
Yeah, at some point, like, the other lions have to have a talk with him about, like, look, you're fine, do whatever you want, like, love is love and all that, but do you have to do it, like, on the peak that's designed so the entire kingdom can see it?
On center stage, every time. Every time you
It's their
fuck, it's on
favorite
center stage.
It's their favorite spot.
You call a parade at 5 a.m. every single time and scream out, I want you to watch, as all of the, like, zebra bow.
Simba's just like, look, Nala, this is a part of the circle of life, and everyone needs to know about it. We show off the kids that are the result of it, and we don't want to show off the activity that spawned them. That's hypocrisy. Prude. He's just calling Nala a prude.
Yeah, this is the most important part of the circle of life. This is what they left out of the song. Is all the fucking that goes down.
It's true. All right. I mean, did they make it?
I've done a 180. I'm convinced now that this will work.
Listen, they are both the political and sexual masters of the African Serengeti. They rule together, they sleep together, and it is a hot, courageous, prideful coupling.
Excellent pun. Excellent.
Yes. All right. Well, I
It
think
gives a whole new meaning to Pride
It does,
Rock.
see?
Yeah, they just painted rainbow.
Painted rainbow, yeah.
Well, while we all try to get the Lion King songs out of our head, we're going to take a quick break and then come back with our next couple. So stick around for that. All right, and we're back with our second ship of the day. And this one comes to us from Reddit user Zadhum Zado. There's a
Way
lot
to
of
keep it condensed, Zato.
it's with a bunch of X's. Zadhum Zado, thank you for sending this one in. This is one that like you can see across the internet in all kinds of places. I've seen this at cons as couples cosplays. It's a big one, but we haven't investigated it yet, and we need to. Carmen Sandiego and Waldo from Where's Waldo? Or Where's Wally, if you happen to be listening in England.
Shit, this is good.
It's a great one. It's a classic, but it's one that we haven't tackled. And these two, they both love just venturing out into strange places across the globe. I can see exactly like where they have similarities. The question of whether they would work together as a couple is a really interesting one, though. I don't know, Steph, what do you think? What's your initial reaction to this art thief and this guy who likes to hide in crowds?
What is his thing?
Whatever the opposite of an exhibitionist is.
The one thing they have in common is they both wear the same outfit every day. So
That's true. That's true.
They can
And they
bond.
have tons of people looking for them.
yes,
That's the thing. It's
they're
their
both always
where in the world is Carmen Sandiego and where's Waldo? We're all just asking where they are constantly. Maybe they're together.
Carmen Sandiego does it in like a very intelligent, like constantly moving, right? One
It's
step
like-
ahead, and
yeah.
Waldo's just standing there waiting for you.
Hiding in plain sight. Like a true psychopath.
I mean, he looks for places where there are people dressed like him. He always wants to make sure he fits in.
Yeah.
He's very conforming when you get down to it.
The other good thing about them is like she's always on the move, right? Going country to country, and he's like prepared because doesn't he have like a backpack with him and he has like a walking stick at all times, like a canteen, like he's ready for all
Scenarios.
wherever he
yeah.
might end up with Carmen Sandiego.
He's mobile. That's everything that he owns is
on
in
his
that.
person,
Exactly.
so he's ready to go.
The hat, the glasses, he's ready for anything. I think that there may be an initial problem in that Carmen Sandiego is, you could make a pretty strong argument, inherently evil. She is stealing stuff Whereas Waldo, I don't think is a bad guy. I
No.
think that he is just someone who likes to hang out and blend into a crowd.
I would say that like Carmen Sandiego is like chaotic neutral.
You don't get to chaotic neutral by stealing artifacts, good sir.
No, I mean that because she's not necessarily doing it for evil reasons. She's not trying, but like she's just like going where she can and taking what she wants. It's not for good, it's not for evil. She just
Right.
does it. So chaotic neutral. Waldo is just true neutral. There is nothing leaning him in any direction. He's just looking to stand
He's
there
just
and
standing.
see what the world does.
You don't understand, officer. I was robbing that bank for educational purposes.
I thought she steals though for fun. Like she doesn't actually need it, or is that not true?
So depending on the
For the
canon
challenge.
and like because there's the game show versions,
Okay.
there's the recent reboot versions with Gina Rodriguez where she's like stealing on
From-
behalf of an organization. But I think that what it really boils down to is that she does it to like sometimes it's to protect things, but she's also trying to just have fun.
Right.
Okay.
She's out there having a good time, traveling through time, or just across the world stealing stuff. And I think I have a pitch for the meet cute
Ooh.
for these two. I think she winds up going to try to steal a first edition copy of Where's Wally? The original Waldo book.
Oh, shit.
It's like in a museum somewhere, and she's just like, this is fun. This is meta. I'm gonna steal that book.
The
And
British.
Waldo is there.
And well, Waldo, I mean, Waldo is there like as part of the exhibit.
Okay.
He's just standing completely still the entire time.
There's a whole field of Waldo cosplayers going to this exhibition
Okay.
of old books, and so he's just like in the crowd.
Oh, how fucking perfect is that? It's it's Where's Wally Con. And Lord knows, Carmen Sandiego's like, this British children's literature museum has the tightest security in the entire universe. But Waldo's like, yeah, this is the ultimate challenge to blend in at my own convention.
Anyone should recognize him because his face is plastered over every surface of the convention hall. But if he can pull it off, no one will ever question his hide and seek abilities ever again.
I never thought he was like intentionally doing it. I thought he was just standing there.
Maybe for the first couple of books.
But now he's into it.
But
This
there's
is
like
his-
20 books of him hiding in places. At this point, he's got to know what's up.
yeah, now it's fun for him.
Now it's a challenge that he takes
So
on.
they have this in common.
So how do they meet? Like, how do they get together at this convention?
I'm willing to bet that, like, she goes to steal the book, but it's like, oh, there's so many copies here. Which is the real one? I need to spot it in the crowd. And I bet that she just completely at random picks the genuine real. Actually, no, I take it back. It's not at random. She, using her excellent deductive skills, looks through the crowd and is like, that's the original fucking Waldo. Like, that's the real genuine deal. So she just, like, struts up to him and is like, I know you're the real Waldo. I want you to tell me where the real book is.
Or is she just trying to steal him?
The ultimate heist. Yes, she goes with the intention of stealing the book, but when she sees that it's the real Waldo, it's like, he's the true treasure. So she-
Congratulations, you found me.
Oh God! The inside of this burlap sack is so rough on my skin. It's scratching my glasses.
So do these two hit it off? Like, she gets him back to her, like, palace of stolen treasures.
I think, yeah, he is in total awe at that point. That, like, she picked him out of the crowd. Like, you
Yeah.
are the best at finding me. This is something special. Like, I can't just let this go.
But now, can she find his heart? I'm sorry, I had to. So yeah, do these two connect at that point, right?
Yeah, I think they have a shared interest.
They both love finding things.
They both love the hunt.
And like she totally can. He would be a huge boon to her, helping to steal things. He blends in like no one else in the world.
He's not a master of disguise, but he is a master of absorbing himself in his surroundings.
Like the security guards, when they're looking over the monitors for him, they can't explain it. Their eyes just pass right over him.
Yeah, that's his superpower.
At the beach, at the mall.
They're robbing things from all kinds of places. There's a Where's Waldo museum edition, and it's just different art exhibits, and there's always one fancy painting missing.
That's beautiful. Yeah, so these two team up to become like the ultimate. It's a fucking Bonnie and Clyde situation at this point. So they're going around and like robbing the world of these treasures. And that, you know what, Steph? You were right at the beginning, because this is the connective tissue that holds them together. Neither of them need this.
Right.
Like, Carmen Sandiego has become independently wealthy from her early days, and Waldo is just swimming in residual money. Like, he gets fucking checks on the daily from all of those, like... Listen, what they don't tell you is all of those dentist office rent those books. Right. It's a subscription service. So every month he's getting a green check in the mail. Like, the dentist money finally came in.
Waldo and the creator of Highlights magazine. just drowning in dough.
Yeah, palling around on a yacht together. He is... That's, the third part of their elite crack team is the Highlights. Goofus and Gallant pair up together.
We just don't realize that Waldo's actually been behind Highlights magazine.
God, this is the ultimate children's crime syndicate. Perfect.
They don't realize that we've been republishing the same magazine every 6 months for 3 decades.
Yeah. That's Highlights magazine really is like a training guide for criminals. It's like, spot the differences between these two pictures. Can you create a convincing forgery?
Can you find your way through this maze?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you sneak out through these square vents to exit the building?
Which vein will kill this security guard when cut?
Oh no. All right, so these two they lead this amazing Bonnie and Clyde life together. Bonnie and Clyde famously does not end well for them.
Right.
How does it end for Waldo and Carmen Sandiego?
For some reason, I keep thinking of the movie Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery. I don't know why I'm going to that, but it does end well for them. I believe they end up together, so...
This is perfect. Some fucking, militaristic kid is like, I'm gonna find them. And that's, his whole journey is tracking them down. So, as a veritable bloodbath ensues, where, Goofus and Gallant are on fire, and, I don't know, Franklin the Turtle has been, severed in half from this vicious art heist gone wrong, they do have to go their separate ways. But lo and behold, 2 years later, it's in Milan, and Carmen Sandiego is just walking down the street at night, midnight, and she just stops and says, "Found you." And from the fucking shadows, the red and white shadows, emerges Waldo. He's like, "They can never keep us apart."
And then they just disappear, and they walk off, disappear into a crowd together.
They literally,
absolutely.
they disintegrate and get absorbed into their surroundings. They become pure balls of energy.
I think it's beautiful.
I think they could totally make it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the story. These two criminals will just... Every so often, that teenager who we wrote in at the last moment, but has been there the whole time, we'll see an article about a theft at a museum and go, no. No way.
Waldo!
He just looks at the paper, the news article suspiciously, and then it cuts to black.
Yeah, this is perfect. It's great. It's Bonnie and Clyde, but like happy at the end.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That's it. We can close the picture book on that relationship. But we still have our matchmaker segment, so stick around, guys. This is going to be a fun one. And now it's time for our matchmaking service. But before we dive into that, I just want to take a quick moment and remind you guys that a great way to help out the podcast is to go onto iTunes or to Podbean or Stitcher, wherever you are. Leave us a rating, leave us a review. It's small, it takes like 5 seconds, but you wouldn't believe how much it helps push us up in those search rankings. So when people are looking to get their fan fiction audio fill, they find Ships of the Night and they hear the weirdness that is this podcast. Also, be sure to put it on for your friends and family. Trust us, it'll only be weird for the first few minutes. The judging will probably last a few years, but it's worth it. All right. Is everyone ready for our matchmaking service to open its doors? Greg, are you prepared?
That's the sound of me turning around the sign so it reads, open and ready to find your fictional character's love. No matter how obscure they are, we're going to do it and make them feel great. It's a huge sign.
Yeah, and I told you they charge by the letter. I don't know why we had to order that one.
Spare no expense.
So, Steph, who have you brought in for us today?
I brought Babe the pig from the movie Babe.
Yes.
He is the star of the movie. Babe, if anyone hasn't seen, what is that, 25 years now? It is about a little pig, and he's owned by a farmer who kind of, I think they almost eat him at the beginning, maybe, or he's going to become
It's a real Charlotte's Web
some
situation.
food situation,
Yeah.
and then Babe, he like trains him like a dog to like herd sheep and do tricks, and he's like a very sweet pig.
He's the most polite pig
yeah, like
ever.
a little, like, yeah, wouldn't harm anything, and he deserves love.
Yeah. All right.
As we all do.
So, Greg, why don't you take a swing at this one first? I know you've got somebody prepared for Babe.
Yeah.
So, tell us who you're thinking of setting up this pig who may or may not be in the city.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Zach, because I am sick of all these fake-ass Babe fans who have never even seen Babe Pig in the City. A big part of Babe's personality is that, like, he gets lost out in the world and, like, has to find his way throughout, like, social situations and, like, human interaction and all that. I think that you want someone, an animal, who understands that feeling of being lost and coming home. I think Babe belongs with Chance from Homeward Bound. Now, granted, Chance is a little bit of a rapscallion, a little bit more rude and tood than Babe the Pig, but I think that's what Babe needs. He needs someone to help, like, get him out into the world, someone who is still a very good boy and does all the right things, but is gonna, like, help Babe experience that sense of adventure, and Babe can give Chance that real, like, English down-home loving he deserves.
Okay.
All right. I think I have a different sort of approach. So we'll see
Little
who's
spin, okay.
right for Babe. Because I think what Babe really needs is somebody who's going to embrace his lifestyle, and just the general life that he's had. He needs somebody who's a farmer and is familiar with that. That's why I want to set him up with Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. Rabbit is someone who loves to grow vegetables, loves to keep everything neat and in line. Babe is a very polite, very orderly pig. So they can absolutely work together to make sure that their lives stay in a neat, clean line that it goes into. And who's gonna be there every day when Babe is like working on the farm? Farmer's a very long life to have to live, but Rabbit stays where he lives. He loves to stay in. He loves to have friends around him. He might put up a fuss every now and again, but that's just because he's like a British-esque rabbit. And Babe, with all of that politeness, is so sweet, so humble. The two of them will just be cleaning and farming until their old days.
It's a very sweet picture. I'll give you that.
We have 30 seconds each to rebut each other's arguments.
I'm gonna fucking tear you down.
Oh boy. Well, with that attitude, go for it.
It's all about the SEO, baby. Search engine optimization, okay? Pig and a rabbit, kind of cute. Pig and a dog, fucking adorable. On every single magazine cover, pushed to the front page of Reddit. These two are going to be the ultimate adorable couple. And listen, Babe can get what Rabbit's offering from anyone on the farm. He needs a life partner and a soul partner who's gonna get out there into the wilderness and the big city.
But here's the thing. When you really get down to it, Chance is somebody who's locked into his family. That dog is his family. Babe is the dog in this household. You can't have two dogs running around. They're gonna get in each other's way. What Babe gets from Rabbit is he gets two people. You get two people in this relationship who have similar goals, but Rabbit's gonna raise the vegetables while Babe is herding the sheep. They're gonna work together to bring different parts of this society into the forefront. They're not gonna compete with one another. Babe doesn't need that.
Piglet would fucking kill Babe in a New York second.
Whoa!
He is the only pig in the 100-acre wood, damn it.
Piglet's too scared to do anything about that. If anything, Babe would help Piglet become more of a fully formed pig.
All right, Stephanie, we've presented you with two options for Babe the pig. Unfortunately, you can only choose one. We have to ask the question, who do you want to set Babe up with?
Both compelling arguments. I'm gonna go with Chance.
Yeah!
I think Rabbit is a little too pessimistic in life for Babe.
Oh, yeah.
He's got kind of a downer, and Chance is not. I think Chance would be a good match. He's like always looking for an adventure. He wants to be out roaming. A farm would be great.
Oh, man.
You know?
This is the one situation where you could bring a dog to a farm upstate, and it turns out to be just, like, a beautiful thing. And not horrifically sad. It's like, no, we brought him to a farm upstate so that he can be with his one true love, a pig that thinks he's a dog.
That's a nice story you told your kids when your dog got cancer, isn't it? No, really. That's really what happened.
Yeah, the kids do not believe it for a heartbeat. You're like, we get it. He died. That's real mean, Mom.
Dad, I'm 25. Stop telling that story. No, really.
Look at the Instagrams. He's there. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This was so much fun. If people want to see more of you or hear more stuff that you might have worked on, where might you send them?
I don't know where I would send them at
Send
the moment.
them nowhere.
I'm not using social media. They're welcome to come over and listen to me talk at my house about
There you go.
whatever.
They can meet your puppy.
Yes, my own Chance. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again so much. This was a blast. These were some amazing ships today. Greg, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the tweets at Greg Goodness. You can also find me occasionally performing at the Pack Theater in beautiful, sunny
Hollywood, California.
Don't you dare fucking steal my outro. That is me time. Me time for me.
It's predictable. I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. Be sure to follow the podcast itself on Twitter, Instagram at ShippingPod. You can send your ship ideas to our email address, shipsinthenight@gmail.com. Shipsinthenight@gmail.com was taken. Don't send it there. God only knows what they're thinking when they get stuff by accident. Shipsinthenight@gmail. So until next time, guys, this has been Ships in the Night, casting off.